Welcome to Show Me Something Wrong.
It's quite a good pause there. Where each episode...
Oh, you're just doing my thing now.
Oh, fuck you. Where each episode, one of us chooses a movie to watch that the other hasn't seen. The movie is often obscure, usually odd, and always wrong. I'm Dave.
And I'm Guy.
And today I've chosen the movie, and it is OGROFF, a.k.a. MAD Mutilator, a.k.a. some other stuff, but we'll get to that later, from 1983, directed by a guy that I'll spend some time talking about after the opening song. All right. Wow. This is exciting. I've been wanting to do this movie for a very long time.
I actually had another film of this director on my watch list, but I had not seen anything he's done.
Out of interest, was it Trepanator?
Yeah, it was like the Reanimator ripoff, right?
Well, that's interesting because that's the first film by this guy that I watched.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm a big Jean Rollin fan.
Yeah.
And Jean Rollin is in Trepanator. He acts in that film.
Okay.
And that's why I watched it, and it's pretty entertaining and pretty shit, as you might expect.
I've seen clips only of it, but I thought, wow, this is fucking nuts. And I think we may have had a conversation about him in the past.
Maybe.
When I was just like, oh, this is perfect for the podcast. You're like, no, well, I'm doing OGROFF, so, you know. But, yeah, I've not actually seen any of his films from start to finish.
Well, let's talk about... We haven't mentioned his name.
Who is this? Who's this guy? Wait, so can I... Oh, sorry, where's he from?
France.
Right.
This is a French film.
Okay.
Yes, this is a French film from 1983, directed by... And, oh boy, you're going to hear some butchered French today, Guy.
Oh.
Very butchered. Also, before I forget, I want to give a big thanks to my friend Pierre.
How did I know you were going to say Pierre?
So Pierre, who I've mentioned on the pod before, yeah, he can speak French, and he helped me a lot with, like, both research for this and pronunciation as well. So thanks, Pierre.
Thanks, Pierre.
Appreciate it. And I'm sorry for my mistakes in my pronunciation. So this film is directed by Norbert Moutier.
Okay.
Moutier, I think that's how you say it. I hope I'm saying it right. His full name, Norbert Georges Moutier, a.k.a. N.G. Mount.
That's very different.
Very different. In this film, he's credited as, like, somewhere in between as Norbert Georges Mount.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, that is his name. And yeah, who is this man? That is a question
I'm fascinated.
we're going to spend most of this episode
Really?
trying to
fucking
unpack.
hell. Okay.
But out of interest, Guy, so you've watched the film. I asked you not to do any research on the director or anything. Could I ask you, what do you imagine this guy is like? Like, who do you think, what kind of person directed this? Like, I'm thinking, like, age-wise and all that kind of thing.
It's difficult because on one hand, this is just such a kind of love letter to slasher films, you know? But then while I was watching it, it felt very, like, fetishy. Like, for me, this felt like someone's, like, jerk-off movie.
Really?
And I felt like the director was putting a lot of his own, like, fetishes and weird things that he wanted to, like, jerk off to into this film.
That's not where I expected you to go.
No, there's something really weirdly, like disgusting and perverse about this film. And so with that in mind, I'm kind of now picturing an older fella.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I assumed that you would have immediately said, "Oh, this was probably directed by a kid,
Right?
Like a Mike Diana type."
Well, funny you say that because in like the first scene, which I'll get to, I was like, "Oh, this is just like fucking Blood Brothers." But the more I watched it, I was like, "This is someone's jerk off film."
Well, I can't comment on the jerk off aspect,
You're always commenting on jerking off aspects.
but you're right.
Oh, yeah?
You're right. I assumed that you would immediately go for young man, but no, you're right. He was not a young man when he
Right.
made this. So I thought for a long time that he was like some young dude in his 20s
right,
that made this. And yeah, with Trepanator like having Jean Rollin in it, I'm like, oh, he's like a young fan of Jean Rollin. He's passed away now.
Right.
He was about the same age as Jean Rollin.
Oh.
So Moutier was not a young man when he made Ogroff. He was born in 1941 and died in 2020. So he was 78 when he died. So that means when he made this, he was in his early 40s.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can totally get that.
All right. So let me tell you a little bit about Moutier. It's a fascinating tale.
I'm going to just kick back and listen.
So as you can probably guess, his day job was not making movies.
I can't imagine he was earning much from these.
No. He was an accountant for most of his working life, but he dedicated all his free time to films and comics, and these were his passions in life that he had since the age of 5.
Wow.
So yeah, he ran a film club and he created fanzines.
Okay.
One of the fanzines was about comic books, and the other better known one was a movie focused fanzine called Monster B.
Okay.
Spelled monster, and then the B is BIS.
Oh, okay.
So
what does that mean?
Well, thanks for asking that.
That's what I'm here for.
I do a lot of research for this episode. So the B is a reference to the French term cinema B, and it essentially just refers to genre cinema.
Okay.
So like B movies, like Z-grade films, exploitation films, all that sort of stuff. So was the focus of this fanzine. Monster B ran from 1979 and was extremely popular with genre fans. And I looked up some like issues on eBay, and it looks fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah?
It looks really good. But at the beginning, like, so in 1979, it was a very modest production. The first issue was only 32 pages in black and white, very homemade kind of looking.
Love it.
But as he went on, it became more professional. And from issue 33, it was 84 pages of full color.
Oh, shit.
From that point on. And then in the 90s, he kind of like relaunched it and did a new series of the fanzine. And the new series changed the format up. So each issue had one theme, director, actor that it would focus on for that issue. Sounds really cool. He was still making this fanzine in the 2000s.
Whoa.
So there's hundreds of issues of this.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
when you say like fanzine, my like image of a fanzine is like Xeroxed. It's all pretty much handmade stuff. Even in the later issues, was it still like limited to just a few copies?
I think as it went on, it became a lot more professional. But
professionally printed?
Yeah, but those like first like 30-something issues are very much like what you're imagining.
Right.
Xeroxed kind of
Yeah.
style. Yeah. So he not only made fanzines, he eventually dedicated his working life to cinema and comics as well. So he quit the accounting biz and opened up a comic book store in 1986 called BD Ciné in Paris, or Paris.
Oh, God. Wait. You're overloading me with all these French sounds.
Paris. So this store started as a comic book store, but it eventually was transformed into just like a pop culture store focusing on movie memorabilia. That was in the 2000s. It kind of changed into that.
What was this store called?
BD Ciné.
Okay. Where was it again?
Paris.
And who ran it?
Moutier. But from what I've heard about him, what I was reading about him, it seems that he only really ran this store so he could build up his own collection of films and memorabilia.
I mean that's what everyone does. Really.
Sure, yeah. So that's basically why he ran that shop, I think. So yeah, he eventually called the fanzine, and his shop quits in 2012. I think he got a bit older, got a bit unwell.
Yeah.
And he moved back to his hometown of Orléans. Spelt like New Orleans, but like...
Wait, it's what?
But
it's spelled like New Orleans.
Spelled like New Orleans.
But
so the Orleans from New Orleans, but it's pronounced Orléans. I'm sorry, French people.
Whereabouts in France is this?
I think it's kind of close to Paris.
Where?
Paris.
Ah.
I found also a lot of other fascinating stuff about Moutier, but I'm going to save it for the end.
Cool.
There's some crazy stuff about him.
Right.
So let's talk Ogroff and the making of this film. So outside of fanzines and his shop, he obviously made films as well. And this is his debut film.
Okay.
Ogroff.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, his first film.
Fuck, this is a very, what's the word?
Boisterous first film.
Yes.
Ambitious.
Ambitious, that's the word I'm looking for. Ambitious. And long.
It's like 80 minutes.
Yeah, for like a debut
first film.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how long was your first film?
My first...
Like either short or whatever. Or...
Like from high school days?
Yeah.
40 minutes.
40, that's far too long.
I know.
Mine was 17 and I was just like, fucking hell. And shit. So this is like an 80-minute... Like, literally, it's pretty much just a showcase of special effects.
Yeah. And, like, it's 80 minutes of chaos. Like, there's not really any break. And especially, like, to make it as, not an old man, but, like, an older man. Like, that, it takes so much energy to make a film.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. So, something that really confused me in my research for this episode and drove me fucking insane for about a week. So, on the Wikipedia page, and in a lot of reviews, it has this quote about Ogroff. Norbert Moutier was a video rental store proprietor who devised the film with the hopes of renting it to patrons at his store.
Okay.
So that line is on Wikipedia, and then all of these reviews just repeat that.
Just picked it up and pasted it.
And that seems to be like the kind of main lore of this film, like the background of this film.
Okay.
And this confused the fuck out of me because this film was made in 1983 and he didn't open his store until the mid-80s. Right. And in the mid-80s, it was a comic book store. It wasn't a video rental store. So that was really confusing. And when I started to dig further, I couldn't find anything confirming this.
Right.
And when I started to search in French, there was no reference to this in any of the articles. So on the French Wikipedia page, it doesn't say anything about this idea of him devising the film to rent to people in his video store. And on his official website, there's nothing like that as well. Interviews with him, he does not mention this. And
some urban legend.
I don't want to say for sure that it's not true, but I can't find any evidence of it. So
thinking about it though, like just setting the scene, if there were to be a video rental store, and they always have movies playing, you know, if there was this just like playing in the background somewhere, it's the kind of film that has enough juicy moments for someone to be like, wow, look at this. There's so much going on that I feel like it would have been an easy sell.
Definitely.
So hearing the explanation, I can totally imagine that. But the fact that it's like not backed up or confirmed anywhere.
Yeah. And I think the confusion comes from a few things. So my guess is that it's because he did self-distribute this film.
Okay.
And he kind of released it like a fanzine and sort of sold it to people directly in that way. So I guess it's kind of got that feeling of like a guy selling his own stuff and in that kind of way. But also there is a store that is like a shop that is at the center of the production of this film.
Okay.
But it's not his shop.
Huh.
So here we go.
Deeper down the rabbit hole.
Deeper down the Moutier rabbit hole. So,
Jesus.
In the late 70s and early 80s, Moutier spent a lot of time at a store called Movies 2000.
That's not the name of the store,
That's
though,
the
is
name
it?
of the store.
No, I don't believe you. You got to say the French name.
Movies at 2000.
That's just, now you're just being racist, Dave.
So this was a movie and bookstore run by Jean-Pierre Puttes, who also acts in Ogroff as well.
Oh, okay.
And this guy was also a fanzine creator and created the fanzine Mad Movies in the 70s. So he had the shop Movies 2000, and this became a hub for all of these horror nerds to just gather and chat shit about films. So this is where Moutier met a lot of these like-minded movie fans, and he started talking about his idea to make a slasher film, and they really got excited by this and got involved in the production. All these sort of fanzine nerds at this shop.
Wait, when did you say this was?
This is in the late 70s.
Late 70s.
Yeah.
So
and the movie came out in 1983.
83. So when we think about slasher films, when was Halloween released? That's 79?
Something like that. Yeah, 78, 79. So this is early days.
Like right when it all started to kick off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very early. Yeah, Friday the 13th is like 1980 or 81, I think. Yeah, so early days of slashers. So all of these people that used to come to the shop, they got involved in the production. And I mean, look, these are not names that I know. I'm not French. Don't know if you've noticed that. Well, actually, you know what? I'm an 8th French. So I'm kind of French, actually. Do you know my mum can speak French? And
I know. Why would I know that?
My mum can speak French, and I actually asked her to help translate some stuff for this
for Ogroff?
for this, and then I was like, you know what, Mum, don't worry about it. I think it might be a bit too much for you. But yeah, so these people from this shop, a lot of them became quite well known in
really
like the kind of pop culture commentating world in France. So all of these guys were like fanzine community people, right?
So is this before or after filming?
So after filming, they became well known. So at the time, they were known as fanzine guys.
Sure.
So they, had a certain, not fame, but like a following. And then some of them have become pretty well known in France now. I don't know any of the names, but just to name a few people, Francois Cognat, who became a famous film critic and is now a producer at Canal Plus. So he's in Ogroff. I don't know who he plays, but I guess he's like one of the zombies or something.
Oh, yeah.
A guy called Bruno Terrier, and he runs like a Parisian cinema boutique store called Meta Luna, which is apparently very popular. Pierre Patin, who is a director and an actor. He died in the late 80s, but he helped Moutier make this film. And the most surprising one for me, Benoit Lestan, who went on... So he did the special effects on Ogroff.
Okay.
He actually went on to be a very successful makeup artist and worked on a lot of big films, including Martyrs. What? So one of the Ogroff crew worked on Martyrs.
Yeah, that's insane.
Which is nuts. Sadly, Benoit committed suicide in 2008, but yeah, he was, a very established makeup artist. So that's fucking crazy, huh?
That's great. I mean, the feel of this film, it is literally just like gather your mates and shoot some shit.
And it was that for sure.
Oh yeah, I can totally believe that. But to know that a lot of the people then went on, like pursued their career within the movie industry and actually like made a name for themselves.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that.
It's so cool. Yeah, I really, really loved reading about that stuff. There's a few other people, but I'll mention them as we go through the film.
Sure.
So with this group of like fanzine horror nerds, Moutier set off to make France's first ever slasher film. This is the first ever slasher film from France, apparently. So I'm interested to know, we're talking about, this is early days of slashers, so there's not really too much for him to draw influence from. But thinking about this film, what do you imagine his influences were?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes, that is the main one. Can you think of anything else of this kind of time? Because this film is not just a slasher film.
Would have been like Night of the Living Dead or something.
Kind of, yeah, Fulci. So at this time, Fulci's like late 70s, early 80s work was huge. So violent zombie stuff was big. So the two big influences for this were Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Fulci zombie films, basically. So you can really see the Chainsaw Massacre stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because, like, on paper or just like at first glance, it just seems like a very shallow slasher flick, like a Jason Voorhees kind of thing. But if you look at the details, it does feel more like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre influenced movie.
Definitely. So another interesting thing about the script for this, believe it or not, it had a script. Like,
wow.
When Moutier,
I wonder how many pages that was.
Like 3 or something. Yeah, when he was writing the script, he was trying to come up with the name of this character, and he settled on Ogroff. And yeah, I found this really interesting. So this name came from like ogre, and then adding off at the end as kind of a reference to all the villain characters of like the 60s and 70s that had off at the end of their name. So for example, like Jess Franco's The Awful Dr. Orloff is like a big kind of influence on the naming of this. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that film has a very direct, the Awful Dr. Orloff has a very direct connection to this film as well, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
Much later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, this film was shot on a very small budget, but you know what? It's bigger, maybe bigger than you might expect.
Okay.
So I assume this was shot for like nothing, essentially. Yeah. It was actually shot for 15,000 francs, which is about 17 grand in US dollars.
Fucking hell.
So the reason why is that the film conversion was really expensive.
Yeah.
That's like basically where all the money went to. He shot it on, very obviously on Super 8. It looks like shit. Yeah, it's great, but it's very much a Super 8 film. And yeah, it was shot in a forest in Orléans, which is south of Paris, and shot in 1982 over weekends when he could wrangle all his silly mates together to shoot it.
Classic.
One of my favorite things about this film, the sound is all very obviously done in post-production.
I know. I'm waiting for you to tell me about the sound and the soundtrack. Yeah, because for me, that's the biggest takeaway of this film.
Yeah. So the sound is completely fucking insane. And it's basically, it was all recorded by Moutier himself, just doing the shit for real. So when it's like a fucking mallet smashing up a car, that's just him recording himself smashing up shit with a mallet.
I love it.
And I think like the lack of synchronized sound in this, so it basically it means that it's almost a dialogue-free movie. There's
pretty much nothing. There's
maybe like 10 lines of dialogue or something, you know.
And even within those 10 lines, that there's voiceovers. Yeah. So it's not even like spoken dialogue.
Yeah, there's hardly any dialogue. And honestly, I think that this is actually a blessing in disguise.
Right.
We'll get into it after the film, but with his other films, when he got the ability to have dialogue, it kind of took away.
Did he lose his magic a little bit?
I would say he lost the magic a bit with that. So I kind of like the fact that this is essentially like a crazy silent film.
Yeah. But the soundtrack, the score to this is insane.
Yeah.
It's
been released on vinyl, that score. Yeah.
I want it. And I've made some notes about the soundtrack because I loved it, and it was like nightmare inducing.
Yeah, it's one of the best things about it. Yeah.
Did he do the score? Like you said, like he did the ADR, but did he actually do all the little like synthy MIDI parts?
No, I don't think he did the music himself. It's credited to someone called Jean Richard. Jean Richard.
Oh, I know him.
But dude, check out this cover of the vinyl.
I love it. Oh my God, I want it so bad. Hey, how long is the soundtrack?
It doesn't look like... Oh, one of the tracks is 20 minutes long.
I hope it's the last track.
It's an electronic suite, 20 minutes long.
Yes! Oh, I'm so buying this. Man. I've just found it on Bandcamp.
Is it expensive?
Digital album, €3. Mm-hmm. Or the vinyl. Oh, look at this. €18 or more if you're rich. And there's an etching on one side. Oh, dude, look at this. This is so great. Look at this etching.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. That is great.
It's like Ogroff with his weird little gimp mask and an axe.
Amazing.
Fuck, I'm so buying this.
Distracted by this vinyl.
I just want to listen to it. One of the songs is called Rasta Reaper. There's no Rastas in this movie. Does this have the end credit song? Sorry, I'm just listening to this now. Hang on, let's skip forward. Nah, this isn't the one. Hang on. Ooh. Oh, look at that.
That's great.
No, but Which one's Rasta Reaper? This is the one! This is the one! Oh! Dude, I made some notes about this song. This song is so fucking good. Oh.
Rasta Reaper.
It's called Rasta Reaper. Alright, I'll save it. At the end of this podcast, we're going to play the entire Rasta Reapers.
Oh, God.
Because it's so fucking good. Holy shit. I'm so excited.
Alright, well, let's get into the film itself. We open on a country road. We've got some spooky music playing. Is it the Rasta?
No.
That's not till later.
Oh, yeah. I'll let you know when that comes in.
And we see a car driving down a sort of side road, like off the main road. And the driver pulls over for a pee break. So the guy gets out of the car, walks off to do a piss. His passenger, a woman, I guess his wife.
Yep.
It's hard to know what the relationship is here. She gets out for a stretch and a cig, and also a young girl gets out of the car. She goes off into the woods.
This was something that confused me or took me by surprise, because the dad, calls out to the girl, Letitia! And I was just so sure that it was a boy.
Yeah, I did have to do a little bit of extra digging here. It's like, it is a girl? Okay, alright.
Name's
sure.
Letitia, but it's the most... I was like, oh, there's a little boy who just left the car, yeah.
So, the little kid's gone off into the woods. After doing his wee, the man goes back to the car, calls out for his daughter,
Letitia.
And we see her in the woods, and she's approached by an off-screen figure. And we see his shadow holding a big fucking axe. Not just any axe as well, like, what do you call that kind of axe? Like, the ridiculous, like, kind of fucking Lord of the Rings looking kind of axe.
Is it? Oh, I don't know. I didn't even pay attention to it. He does.
Yeah. But it's a very, like, medieval looking axe that he's got here. Yeah, so we see his shadow holding the axe. He chops down onto the kid, stabbing her in the chest, pulls the axe out, and drags her corpse along the ground. And watching this, I couldn't help but think of something you said in the last episode, Guy, for Bloody Buns. I've got a quote from you from the last episode. From Guy, in the Bloody Buns episode, if I'm not seeing children dying, I'm not happy. So, watching this scene, I'm like, Guy must be happy watching this
I don't recall saying that. I was very happy. No, I'm not gonna lie. I went into this movie completely blind. I didn't know what kind of film it was or anything. And then I started watching it, and I was like, oh, fuck, it's a shot-on-video horror film. Or, like, it's like one of those, like, really shitty, cheap, get your mates together and shoot a cheap shit horror film. And I really wasn't in the mood to watch it. And I was like, oh, God. As happy as I was to see the kid get the axe in the chest. Letitia, the boy. But I was like, no, I'm not now. You need to be in a certain mood to watch something as shit looking as this. And when I started watching it, I was just like, this is not the right time for OGROFF, the MAD Mutilator. I pulled out a Blu-ray that I recently bought, and I started ripping it on my laptop, and that takes time. But I was like, I'm just gonna watch this instead. I was like, no, I'll do OGROFF, the MAD Mutilator another day, and I'll watch what the fuck was it? The Seeding Demon or something, Ghost Seed or something. I don't know. But I started ripping it. It took some time, so I was like, right, until this is ready, I'll just keep watching it. But somewhere along the lines, I became like really into this film.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
And I got so invested into this. I was like, this was fucking amazing. And even after I finished ripping my Blu-ray, I didn't watch it. I fucking deleted it. I was like, I'm going to watch OGROFF again. It was great.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But this is the first point where I was like, this sounds, the score to this is incredible. Because there's like loads of really strong whirring wind noises. I don't know, this probably won't mean anything to you, but it sounds like a Paysage d'Hiver soundtrack, which is a Swiss black metal band.
Right.
Or one-man band thing. He speaks French. Well, Paysage d'Hiver? It's the what's that, winter landscape or something, I think it translates to. But there's always like this like intense like wind howling scenes, and I was like, fuck, I feel like I'm listening to a Paysage de Ver album on top of this like gruesome gore film. And I was really into it.
I also love, like, so yeah, the score's fucking cool. And then after he's murdered this girl, I love the title, the main title.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking cool. So we've got him after he's killed this girl, and we see, like, it's like a shot of just Ogroff, the title, like, floating in midair. And then some blood sort of splatters onto the screen. But it's fucking great. It's, like, really cheap, but it looks kind of great.
It's like he like painted the title Ogroff onto a plate of glass, which is something we come back to a few times.
And you're exactly right. That's how they did it. So
I've got this film.
Yeah, you've smashed it. So yeah, they had a piece of glass, had it painted on there, and then the actor splashed the blood onto the glass. But it's fucking cool. It's like, it's a cheap, simple effect, but it looks great.
Yeah. So is this after we get the title shot that we go back to the dad who's like searching for his kid? Oh, he goes into the forest and like behind the trees, and we get these shots of just the tree branches waving around, and then he comes out with no head.
I love this so much. So like, yeah, this headless body walking out, but the hands are like still grabbing at the neck stop.
It's like great. That shot from Bad Taste.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome. And yeah, the headless corpse falls over, the hand's still fucking feeling at the stump, and then fucking Ogroff himself,
the man himself,
bonkers Ogroff, comes storming out of the bushes. Do you want to describe what Ogroff looks like? Because it's pretty special.
It really is. So he's got kind of like a gimp mask. A gimp mask in the style of like the Phantom of the Opera type mask. So it's only covering half his face. It looks leather with some weird like studs in there. And he's wearing a woolly hat and what looks like a burlap sack for clothes. And he's kind of doing like, he's kind of like side shifting his jaw. So all we see is his teeth just like, and he's holding this axe. And he looks like a fucking weird hillbilly gimp.
But it also has like a very French flavour to it. I think it's the black beanie gives it like a bit of a French vibe as well. Do you wanna take a guess as to who is playing Ogroff?
Oh, is it the director?
It sure is.
Fuck it. Oh,
so this is Moutier himself playing Ogroff, and man, he's loving this role.
He really is.
He's loving it. So we've got Ogroff storming out of the bushes, mental synth pounding over the top. The woman, I guess the wife of the guy that's just been decapitated, she goes running away. They have like a moment where they're sort of, Ogroff is chasing her around the car, and it's almost like Abbott and Costello.
Oh yeah, it's so silly, yeah.
And yeah, she runs off into the woods. Ogroff chases after her. No sound except that synth just like pounding over the top. We've got a great shot of them running down the road with like a POV of Ogroff with just the axe in front of the camera. The music here, it kind of sounds like the Shining score, like the opening of The Shining. If that score was recorded by like a fucking maniac, like in a basement somewhere. Like it's got that kind of feeling, but it's really fucking distorted and horrible. So the woman runs out of the woods, gets back onto the main road. She tries to wave down cars.
Just to set the scene, we're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Yeah. Like, no cars are passing by at all. And this is one of the things I really liked about this film. Regardless of what direction the camera is pointing in, you never see any landmarks or anything. It's just straight roads for miles. And you really get that feeling of claustrophobia, even though you're out in the openness.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You get a feeling of claustrophobia because it doesn't matter where you go, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was really kind of suffocating.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. But yeah, in some kind of miraculous way, a car drives by. She flags it down.
What I love though, like, as soon as the car is flagged down, Ogroff is like, no.
He just gives up.
He gives up and he just walks off sadly. But then the people that have pulled over are absolute cunts.
Fucking French.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'll say that. No, you can say that. It's fine. We're allowed to insult the French. It's fine. But yeah, the guy driving like jumps out and he's like jumping up and down like a fucking ape. It's like, what is he doing, this guy? And he yells at her to use her legs.
Yeah.
What a dick.
That's it. She's just outrun a killer. She's finally found her, like, vessel to safety. Yeah. And she gets close to the car and he's like, hey, use your legs. They're good for you. Ha! And then they drive off again. And then Ogroff looks back and he's like, oh, the chase is back on. Starts chasing and music kicks back in.
So she's back on the run again. And I love as well, like, her breathing is clearly being dubbed by a man in this, which is probably the director as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's running and then looks off into the distance and sees someone pushing a bike and dragging a cart along. She goes up to this person, follows after this person, and they turn around.
Who is it?
It's fucking Ogroff. And what's in the cart?
The dead kid.
Yeah, which I assume is her daughter.
It's
probably.
Letitia, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's her daughter, isn't it?
That is quite fucked. That's not
Fuck, yeah.
And yeah, Ogroff captures her, is holding onto her, starts to walk off with her, but then she just breaks free, like, very easily.
Yeah.
Runs back into the woods again. And as she's running, she starts running past, like, pieces of trash.
Yeah.
And then she walks past, like, this very fake-looking skull with, like, an axe smashed into it. And she comes across Ogroff's shack.
I love it.
It's
one of those things that happens, you know, you're running and you find a house, you know, and you think, oh, someone there can help. Maybe they have a phone I can use. But of course it's fucking Ogroff's house, isn't it?
And she enters the shack, and it is very much Texas Chainsaw Massacre on a budget.
Lots of plastic bones, like, plastered around, stuck on the wall. And this is and then we get this ridiculous shot of a zoom into a little nudie pic on the wall.
Yeah.
What's that about?
One of Ogroff's nudie pics. And
they make such a point. It's like, wow, like zoom into this like topless picture.
A spooky picture, mate. Yeah. Spooky topless photo.
Some sci-fi sound effects. Yeah.
There's lots of bits of body parts around as well. There's like a full corpse just like behind a curtain somewhere.
She doesn't seem very phased.
I don't know. That's exactly what I've got. She's very like not very fussed about it, is she? She's just like, oh, it's a couple of dead bodies and whatever.
Yeah.
But then she puts her hand down and gets like some blood on her hand and absolutely panics at this point.
I thought she cut herself on something.
Is that what happened?
I don't know. But maybe you're right.
I don't know. It's very chaotic, but basically she's got blood on her hand and holds it up to the camera.
Yeah, she's like showing the camera.
It's fucking great. And she runs out of the shack. Ogroff appears and chains her up to, I guess you would call it a crucifix.
Yep.
That he's got in his front yard, which is basically this big crucifix with some decapitated heads in various states of disrepair.
Disrepair, not decay. Disrepair. I guess they are plastic, so
very plastic looking heads. And chains her up to that. And I love this moment so much. He gets like really annoyed at her screaming. There's sort of a kind of half-baked running thing of Ogroff getting annoyed by sounds in this. But yeah, he's a bit annoyed at her screaming, and he just strangles her lightly, just for a little bit. And then, I can't quite work out what happens, but he seems to stab her face or neck or something.
I thought, like, at first he goes to tape her mouth shut, but then, like, cuts out her tongue.
Oh, is that what he's doing? Okay,
that's what I took from it.
That makes sense, right? Yeah, I couldn't work out what was happening because he basically like leans in and stabs, and then we see him just holding a bit of flesh. So I guess that must be the tongue.
Right.
That makes total sense. And he feeds it to his dog. Ogroff's got a dog.
He does. This is a tangent. This is a tangent, but it's nice that he has a dog, and it kind of reminded me of that film Angst.
Oh, yeah.
There's always that dog running around. Yeah. And it's like, man's best friend. Doesn't matter if they're a serial killer or what. And can I go on a tangent?
Sure.
You know, when Angst got released in Japan a few years ago. It was like a re-release on it. It's like a 4K remaster or something. They made a trailer for it. And in the trailer, you see the dog running around. Of course, it's a serial killer film, right? But there's a dog running around in the trailer. And there was such a kind of concern from the Japanese public of whether the dog would be killed or is the dog safe or something. And so many people were posting about it, like, I want to see this film, but I don't want to see it if the dog gets hurt. And it's in such a huge volume that the company putting out the film actually put out a statement and made their hashtag saying, like, the dog is safe. Yeah. And it became such a big thing. And there became all this, like, merch and posters and everything of just saying the dog is safe, the dog is safe. and anytime, like, there's a film that has some, like, animal in it, it's like a horror film with an animal in it, people start using that hashtag, like, Inu ga buji desu, like, the dog is safe. And this totally reminded me of that. Like, if this were to be released now, I would have that little hashtag, Inu ga buji desu. Yes, I was really happy to see the dog in this.
It is a strange phenomena, isn't it? Because I'm the same. Like, I hate seeing a dog get killed in a film. What's that Mark Wahlberg film where he fucking decapitates the dog? Do you know the one I mean? It's him and Reese Witherspoon. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Not seen that.
And he like carves her name on his chest. And it's weirdly, that film, whatever it is a remake of a Bollywood film.
The fuck?
Which is like usually the other way around, right? But it's got a scene where Mark Wahlberg like fingers Reese Witherspoon.
I thought you say fingers a dog.
It's not dog and aunt. Dog and Mark. Dog and Mark.
Then Mark Wahlberg fingers the dog.
There's a famous scene where he like fingers Reese Witherspoon on a roller coaster.
Oh,
it's
bloody
mental. But that film, it's like it's like a 90s film. It's not really that violent or anything. But he fucking like chops a dog's head off.
Why?
And it's not nice. It's not.
Why would he do that?
Here it is. It's called Fear from 1996. Highly recommend that. Other than the dog getting chopped up.
Okay. Now, speaking of beheadings, this next scene was quite shocking for me.
It's pretty full.
This was quite fucking grim. Like,
it's also funny as well, though.
It's funny as in it's so over the top that you're like, oh my god. Yeah. Everything up to this point was kind of like silly and fun. Yeah. This is quite intense,
and it just happens. Yeah. Like, it's very quick. So he's cut out the woman's tongue, fed it to the dog, and then just hard cut to Letitia getting thrown down onto a slab.
It's like on a tree stump or something.
Yeah, on a tree stump. And just having a head sawn off. So this is like a little kid. This is like a 5 or 6-year-old kid. I hate to say this, but I was fucking laughing so hard because it's so fucked.
It really
is. And it's really frantic the way
he saws it. There's but also there's also like a lot of resistance with the dummy that they're using. Yeah. So it feels really real. Yeah. It's not like a clean cut. He's giving it his all with that axe. Poor Letitia.
Oh, Letitia.
And his mum's on the cross next to him, probably watching.
God. So he's chopped Letitia to bits, and then he takes some of the kid flesh. And he goes into his shack and he throws it down into a trapdoor. We don't see what's down there. What's in there? We don't know. Don't worry, we'll find out in the last 30 minutes of the film. But
yeah, I was like, what's this about? He's just like throwing meat in a hole in his room.
Just throwing meat in a hole. And then, oh fuck, I forgot about the next bit. Then he has a little campfire in front of the mum, and he's just like cooking body parts in front of this crucified mum. And then he's just sitting there like munching down bits of this kid that he's cooked.
Is he a cannibal then?
Guess so.
Jesus, I guess there's not much food out in the woods.
Yeah. But I love as well in this, like, when he's eating, it's just got this horrible, like, slurping sound effect. Yeah. Like a Japanese salaryman eating ramen or something. I really can't emphasize how fucked up the sound effects are in this. Like, they are ridiculous. And you'll hear one sound effect, and it'll just cut out and be replaced with a new one. Be like, slurping sounds, cut! Wind sounds, cut! Synth. Like,
but that, for me, that added all to the experience.
It's amazing.
Oh, it was great.
It's so fucking
in the last, like, 30, 40 minutes is when it really cranks up the insanity.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Also, something to, like, point out here. this film has a very strange concept of time. The sun is constantly setting and then reappearing. And like, it's very hard to know like what time is passing in this. So in this part, after he's slurped down that kid flesh, the sun goes down, the moon comes out, and we see a shot of a car getting worked on, like with parts coming out of it.
Right.
And at first I thought it was meant to be like the family, like Letitia's family, like that car. But I don't think it is. I think it's connected to something that happens later in the film. But we just keep cutting back to this car getting mucked about with. It's a very odd...
It's an odd detail, isn't it?
Very odd detail. But then it's just daytime again. That's it. We just saw that car getting mucked about with, and then it's daytime. We've got a new car coming down the road, the same side road.
Oh, yeah.
And this car pulls over, a woman gets out.
We're in a town now.
Not quite yet.
Oh,
so
not yet?
She pulls over. It's kind of baffling the way it's all cut together.
Okay.
But she pulls over and she looks at the abandoned car, and then she's like, oh well, gets into the car, goes into the city.
Such a pointless shot.
Yeah, it's just very odd. And there's a lot of stuff like that where it's like, did you need that, mate? But okay, guess you're trying to get it to 80 minutes. But yeah, this lady, whoever she might be, goes to a police station. We don't actually see her in the police station because they couldn't afford to do that. But as she's leaving, we hear a voiceover of a cop talking, and he's talking about Ogroff. He's saying, like, take you to Ogroff? Like, Ogroff can't be found. He's everywhere in the forest. He knows it inside out. He knows every path, every tree. It's his home. I love the idea that the cops are, like, fully aware of Ogroff.
I know. You get these very, very slight little insights to the narrative that come, like, every far and few in between. But when they do come, it just makes it so much more juicy. They kind of made this like a lure about this Ogroff, like boogeyman type character, and she's looking for him.
Yeah, so we don't really ever understand who she is.
No,
but she's maybe my guess was like maybe she's someone who wants to get revenge on Ogroff, but then as it goes on, maybe she just wants to fuck Ogroff.
Yeah, we never quite know. But it took a strange turn of events, didn't it?
Yeah, so she goes back to the forest, wanders about looking for Ogroff. Yeah. Then, oh my god.
Love this scene.
Oh, this is so great. So we cut to two silly French lads who are playing fucking chess in the middle of the forest.
And this is where we get the greatest song.
This is where it's like...
This is where Rasta...
they're listening on the radio,
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, whoa. Stop them at, like, pause the Ogroff killing. This song is fucking incredible. And I've bit of a tangent. I've mentioned before, I think it was one of the really early, like, Infernal Rapist episodes, and the score sounds like dungeon synth. Yeah. To describe dungeon synth, it's like, I mean, it derives. This is the second time I'm talking about black metal in this episode. It's not, but it derives from black metal, but it's all like made on like a shitty keyboard, right?
Right.
And it's like, imagine it's this fucking soundtrack to Dungeons and Dragons or something stupid like that. But there's a subgenre of dungeon synth, and it's called cozy synth, and it's all like really nice sounds and like heartwarming sounds.
Yeah.
But again, all made on like the shittiest Casio keyboard you could possibly ever find. And this sounds like that, but the melody is so good.
Yeah. Little Rasta melody.
Oh, I fucking loved it. So yeah, you got these idiots playing chess in the forest, listening to this fire track.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, like they're playing chess, and there's also a woman with them who is just like fucking hanging about in the car, smoking a cig. It's just like, it's the most French picnic you could ever fucking imagine.
Yeah.
In the fucking woods, two fucking cunts playing chess and a lady smoking a cig in a car.
Yeah. And then we get the looming shadow of an axe approaching, and we're like, oh, here we go, lads, time to die. Yeah. But
it's just some old man.
It's a bum
carrying an axe who who asks for a cigarette, I think. And then they throw him a pack of cigarettes. But it's also a little bit chilly in the woods. So we've got some wind blowing as well. Which leads the woman to light an extremely dangerous looking fire next to the guys playing chess.
I forgot about that. It's like some fucking branch on the floor that she just, it's not even a campfire, it's just a branch they took off a tree, like a dried up old branch that they set fire to.
It's so good. So this random...
I didn't know it was, like you said, because it's a bit chilly. I'm just like, she looks like she's just burning stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So we've had this random homeless guy show up with the axe and he's gone off on his way. That whole interaction really feels like a silent film because there's no dialogue exchange.
Right,
it's just him going like... That doesn't work on the podcast. But he's just like...
I get what you mean, Dave.
He's just like nodding at them.
For reference, Dave is nodding.
Yeah. But it really fucking feels like a silent film at this point. But then, out of the sky.
Best entrance ever.
Out of fucking nowhere, Ogroff falls from the sky and lands on the chess table and immediately begins smashing it to fucking smithereens.
The chessboard. Axe the chessboard.
It's so fucking great. I love it so much. He's just smashing it to pieces. And we get this awesome, I fucking love this like POV of one of the random chess playing Frenchmen running away. So it's like his point of view.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the screen like splashes with blood. So again, we've got like that kind of glass effect happening. And we're like, whoa, what just happened? Like there's this blood splashed onto the screen. And then we cut to him on the ground with an axe in his face. And he's like touching at his face, and then we're back to the POV of like the fingers like touching the bloodied screen.
Was great. So it's like we kind of get the point of view shot of this guy who's just been axed in the face, and he's like kind of rubbing his eyes or like kind of rub the blood out of his eyes. All we can see is his fingers on the other side of the glass just rub it. It's really gross.
It's it's a really creative moment as well. That's what I love about this film, and that's why to me it felt like a younger director's film, because it has all these like crazy choices that you wouldn't expect from a man in his 40s. Like just wild stylistic choices.
And then we get another very harsh cut to him axing the leg off the other guy, right?
Yeah, the other guy just gets his foot hacked off. And then he goes over to the shitty fire that the woman's made and burns the stump.
Starts rubbing this on fire tree branch on his kind of leg.
Oh my god, it's so fucking mental. And then just like wallops him in the chest with the axe.
Oh yeah,
it's fucking.
And then
this is my favorite bit of the whole film.
The random act of violence on the Volkswagen.
Yeah, I love this scene. So the woman's in the car, like just screaming like crazy, and Ogroff is just up on the car with a mallet. Like he's got a mallet now.
Was it?
Yeah, and he's just smashing the fucking car up, like smashing it to bits. And there's this amazing moment where the woman like puts her hand out of the door to try and escape, and he just slams the door shut and then mallets her hand off. And it's just fucking lunacy, but it just keeps going for so long. He like goes to the front of the car and like rips out the engine with his bare hands. And like blood's like pouring out of the car because I guess she's like dying from her hand being fucking chopped off. And then not only that, but he goes over to the tape recorder, which is playing that great song.
The music kicks in again.
Yeah, and he just stamps on it like, fuck you. He's not a fan of cozy synth.
It's what was it? Rasta something.
Yeah.
Oh, Rasta Reaper, what a name.
So then he wanders back into the woods again. We get a shot of that car getting worked on again. Still don't know what that is. And then back to Letitia's mum, who is still on that fucked up crucifix. And Ogroff is just like dancing around her, just like mocking her. And then, so she's like survived quite a ways into this film.
She had her tongue cut out, right?
Yeah, she had her tongue cut out, but she's still hanging about on that crucifix. I assumed that she was going to be like a main character. But no, Ogroff just chops her to bits.
Axes her.
Axes her up. Done. That's her done.
Well, I don't get the point of the cross, but
No.
Whatever.
It's a bit of fun. You could say that about a lot of things.
Don't get the point of this movie, but it's a bit of fun.
Oh, God, I also love this as well. Like, we then cut to Ogroff pushing a car along, which I guess is Letitia's family's car. I don't know. Don't know why he's doing this. But he pushes it into, like, a river or a lake or something. But there's this really funny shot of, like, a toy car getting, like, thrown into water.
I don't remember that.
Oh, man, that really made me laugh.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And then, in a baffling turn of events...
Is this where we get another woman driving, a new woman driving?
Yeah. So he's pushed his car into the river or lake. Then we just cut to, like, a random person that we've not met driving along who pulls over for no reason.
In the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere. Goes to a boot, opens it up, and Ogroff's just in there.
And he, like, fucking jumps out the boot, and of course, axes her, yeah.
Yeah, like, the scene has just nothing to do with anything. It's fucking insane. It's so fucking...
It's like, we got a little bit of film left over, let's just film some filler.
Yeah, fuck, alright. This lady's here, like, let's just get her in the film.
Why was he in the boot?
Oh, why did she pull over? None of it makes any sense.
And it's so... There's no build, there's nothing.
Absolutely mad. Oh, and then the next scene, though, is fucking so good. So, Ogroff goes back to his shack. He's chopping up body parts again, feeding them to his dog.
I think
flings over to them.
Was probably the time where probably the moment that I was like, this feels like some old man's fetish.
Right,
video.
yeah. This is the most, like, yeah,
it's
grimmest scene.
Fucking disgusting. And this was the first time I was like, what the fuck is this movie? And to the point, I actually filmed a little, like, Instagram story, right? Uploaded it. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And to my surprise, so many people commented on that. And they were like, what the... Like, some people were like, what the fuck are you watching? Or, this looks like some deep web shit or something. And then some people were like, oh, I really hope this is for showing me something wrong.
Nice.
But there was a ton of people who were like, hey, Ogroff!
Right,
and I was like, wait, how does everyone know this film? So many people were just like, fuck, Ogroff, hells yeah, this is a great film. And, like, for me, this is a completely new film.
This is one of the most seen films I think we've covered, actually.
Seriously?
Yeah. Because, like, I don't know when it happened, but I think maybe, Bleeding Skull?
Yeah.
That website, like, they covered it. That's when I remember first reading about it. And I think it kind of had sort of a resurgence at that point. Because people are just like, what the fuck is this crazy film?
Yeah, I was so surprised to see how many people actually knew it. So I wanted to ask, like, or maybe you were planning on saving it for the end of the pod, but, like, what's its current state in terms of release?
Yeah, it's had DVD release.
Oh, really? Before. Like, official?
Yeah, so it's easy to see this film.
Right.
Yeah, it's not an obscure film.
Oh, okay.
Unlike some of his other films, like, this is, like, way more widely seen. Yeah. So, yeah, this is not really... This is one of the less obscure ones we've done.
Is one of the less obscure ones.
This is one of the less obscure ones, yeah. But anyway, into this fucked up scene. So, he, again, feeds whatever's in his cellar, and then he just has... It's so fucking grim. He has a big, like, bucket. A big bucket of blood.
And it's on the floor. Oh, yeah. It's just placed on the floor. It's like that fucking plate of hot dogs in Worm Eaters. It's just on the floor.
It's so grim. And he's like got a big ladle and he's like sipping it like it's soup.
So you do know what a ladle is.
It's a big spoon.
Fuck off.
He's got a big spoon and he's sipping it like it's soup.
Yeah. Like... in front of the camera, staring at the camera, sipping from this bloody ladle.
It's mad. And then he sits down at the dinner table. He's eating gross fucking body parts and shit, like the synth playing over the top. He's playing with a fucking slingshot. He's got this photo of a woman. We don't know who this is, but it's like a very old kind of photo. Maybe his mum.
I think it's his mum, yeah. That's what I took from that.
And then... he goes over to his bed where he has a whole series of axes hung up on the wall, which is very funny. Oh, and then he lies down and just starts wanking off, but not his dick. He's wanking off with his axe, acting as his dick. So he's got his axe in between his legs and he's just jacking it off.
The fuck, man.
That shit's fucking... That is crazy.
It's dark. It's dark times.
It's fucked up.
Like,
oh god.
I was watching, my partner was like, hey, what are you watching? I was like, nothing. Don't come, don't look.
I don't have a boner.
I'm just polishing my axe. This is, I mean, this film is fucked, but, you know, it's relatively harmless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if someone were to walk in whilst this scene was playing, you would be judged.
Yeah. You're right. It is, like, despite the kid getting hacked up, it is not... it's like fucked of a
Blood
film.
Brothers. It's too silly to take serious.
Exactly.
But this scene it's just dark.
This scene's pervy.
It's just him
Very
like
pervy.
fucking jerking off his axe and like with his little gimp mask and woolly hat.
Oh, fantastic stuff. Love it. So after that interesting scene,
the woman is still looking for Ogroff. Finds a dead body. Isn't phased.
Yeah, so this is where the film adds an element where it's like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
So yeah, she comes across this dead body hanging from a tree. The body has "no love" graffitied on it.
What's that
like
about?
The words "no love," don't know. And yeah, the film takes a very fucking weird turn. Weirder, not quite as weird as him wanking off the axe, but a weird narrative turn. Yeah, she cuts the rope and lets this body down. But then the body comes to life. And it's a fucking zombie. So then, yeah, she runs back to her car, takes out a gun, starts shooting the zombie.
Oh, before that, like, she lets him down from the tree, right? And she kind of, like, but she looks at him, she tends to him or looks at him, and he kind of, like, comes to life. He's like, oh. So she stabs him. Yeah. She just pulls out a knife and fucking stabs him. I'm like, whoa. I thought she was there to help him, but
Went
no.
a bit far there.
And then, like you said, yeah, she runs, grabs her guns, she starts shooting him.
But he just is, like, pulling the bullets out of his body, because he's a fucking zombie for some reason. And then she attaches a rope, so the rope that he's been hung with, she attaches that to her car.
Love it.
Drives off, pops the fucking zombie's head off, and then smashes up the decapitated zombie head with a rock.
Just got no words.
Fucking what the fuck? Good lord. Then back to fucking Ogroff, just wandering about in the woods. And he comes across a man who has a chainsaw and is just randomly chainsawing things.
He's got his axe. We have an axe versus chainsaw fight.
Before we get into the amazing chainsaw and axe fight, this guy is a little bit famous as well. This is, I don't know how to pronounce this one.
You can try.
Alan.
Fuck off.
Alain.
Right.
Alain. Alain Petit. Probably pronounced that totally wrong.
Alain Petit is Little Alan.
So Little Alan is a well-known film critic in France.
Little Alan.
Yeah, Little Alan. And he's also acted in a bunch of Jess Franco's films.
Oh, really?
So there you go. Jess Franco's Little Alan with a chainsaw. He's not that little, though.
He's a big boy.
Reasonably sized man.
But they have the most pathetic fight ever. Fucking hell.
Did you find it, though? Like, this was... So, yeah, they have this axe and chainsaw fight. And then Ogroff slams his axe into Little Alan's guts.
Right.
And then... But his reaction to getting, like, stabbed in the guts, like, he goes fucking nuts. Like, most of the people in this film are just like, oh, I'm dead. I'm done. This guy is, like, on the ground, fucking screaming, flailing about like a fucking nutter.
Oh, I don't remember. The thing that I took away from this scene was just, like, it was extremely long, drawn out. They're both, like, waving their axes and chainsaws around, but, like, really far away from each other. So it's, like, this, like, combat moment, but it's the way that it's filmed is like we can see, it's not filmed from behind one or the other of the characters, it's filmed in the middle, so we can see this massive gap in between the both of them, and it just looks fucking terrible.
And it's also like very obvious that they couldn't damage the chainsaw for the film, which you see later as well, which is very funny. But yeah, Ogroff gets the upper hand. He stabbed the guy in the guts and then takes the chainsaw and just hacks off the guy's legs.
Yeah.
And the guy's just like not moving. He's just accepting his legs being chopped off.
This scene like was painful to watch for me. Like this I think this is the most fucked up scene for me.
Really?
Yeah. The leg thing.
Because what he does after with the leg? Oh yeah.
It was fucking grim. Like it was so awful to watch. So yeah, he's cut this guy's leg off. So this guy's on the floor rolling around in pain, right? With no leg. Ogroff takes his severed leg, brings it up to his face and starts squeezing it. Squeezing the severed leg so that the blood comes out, and he's pouring this blood or squeezing this blood into the man's eyes.
Of his own leg. It's his own leg.
But it's like, it's his own, he's got his eyes wide open and he's getting his own leg blood squeezed into his eyes. And the blood, I mean, what would that have made of? I don't know, but it's a very pinkish, thick looking, gross blood. That would have just been so painful to film.
It's fucking insane. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I think I might have an eye thing that I've learned from doing this podcast. Like when we did Soft Skin, when the character was licking the girl's eyes, and I was like, oh, no. And then in this, when the leg blood being squeezed into the open eyes, like it just... It's fine if they're like fake eyes, you know, like the zombie stuff, like Zombie Footage, Lucio Fulci zombie film, that kind of shit. Severed eyes or guinea pig, you get the spoon, like spooning out the eyes or needle in the eyes. Love it. When it's a real eye, though, like I can't watch.
Yeah, I mean it's fair enough because it's gross. It's gross. Tongues going into eyes, blood going into eyes. No thanks.
Not for me.
Yeah, not for anyone except
Ogroff.
Hisayasu, Sato, and Ogroff. The two eye fetish men. Yeah, so he's squeezed the leg blood into the man's face.
And we get that awesome, like, the glass effect again, right?
Yeah. Got that going again.
And a random act of violence against the chainsaw.
Yeah, that was what I found so funny. Because, like, we've seen Ogroff smash a car to bits, but he will not touch this chainsaw. He's smashing the chainsaw, but at such a distance, he's like nowhere near it. So they clearly had like hired that and like, had to return it after the shoot.
So then that scene's done, and Ogroff, on his way home, we can only assume, finds the girl.
Yes, they finally meet, and he captures her, carries her off, and takes her to his shack.
Ties her to a chair.
Yeah, and then the music here as well, like the synth, starts to really sound like Dawn of the Dead as well.
Right.
To the point that I'm like, is this sampling Dawn of the Dead? But yeah, he's got her strapped to the kitchen table. It's very Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He brings over that photo of what we can assume is his mum.
Yeah.
And is like comparing her to the photo.
Yeah.
Then brings a knife over. We think he's going to maybe chop her up. But then he frees her.
Well, then she looks like his mum.
Yeah. But then, Guy, he carries her over to his fucking gross axe wank bed. And she hugs him.
Yeah.
And we are to assume, Guy, that Ogroff fucks that girl.
Yeah.
And she's alright with it. So from this point on, let's refer to her as Ogroff's girlfriend, maybe Ogroff's GF.
Yeah. Yes. The next morning, she wakes up naked. Yeah. So we see her get out of bed completely nude, and so Ogroff fucked. So Ogroff fucked the girl who looks like his mum.
Yeah. In his axe wank bed.
Ugh, I bet that's a crusty old bed, isn't it? But
so they start to live like a domestic little life together.
They do. And you know what? It really reminded me of the setup in The Toxic Avenger. You know, Toxie lives in the swamp, and he's got that young blonde pretty girlfriend, like doing all like his housework in that fucked up place. It's like that. She's like folding his laundry.
Yeah. She's burying all the body parts as well, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
and they're just hanging about, and they're walking around outside together, having a romantic stroll, I guess. And a car comes down the road and pulls over. Everyone just pulls over randomly in this film all the time.
So you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, Ogroff is about to attack the person who's pulled over, but then his girlfriend is like, nah, don't do it, mate. Don't do it. Stops him, takes him away. So
she's trying to change. She's like, I can change him.
She's trying to change Ogroff's GF. And then back at the shack, Ogroff's girlfriend is tidying up the house. And she finds a newspaper article. So there were no subtitles for this bit, but I've translated them, and this is kind of the backstory of Ogroff appearing here. So the first one says Departmental Meeting of Veterans.
Right.
And we see a picture of what we can assume is Ogroff, because he's got like, not the mask, but he's like face is covered up, right?
Yeah.
Something going on with his face. And he seems to be maybe getting a medal.
Yeah.
And then the next article says commemoration of the war. Then the next one takes a turn and says strange disappearance in National Forest.
Okay.
We can assume that Ogroff is some kind of war veteran. We don't really know much more than that. He maybe got a medal. He got commemorated. He was perhaps a hero, but for some reason went off to the woods
to kill people. Well, yeah. It's it's a good scene, and I like that they add these little bits of lore about the character here and there scattered around. However, the new girlfriend, GF, she's like rummaging through his stuff or cleaning, I don't know, but she opens like the drawers. And in every drawer, there's just this one newspaper article spread like flat
to
out.
Tell you that what's going on.
She opens like 3 drawers or something, and in each drawer there's just this like article spread flat out with nothing else inside the drawer. Like you could at least like mix it up with some junk or whatever. Be like, oh look at this! Amongst the junk, there's a newspaper article. No, it's like it's just like this one page spread flat out wherever she looks.
Super convenient.
Oh yeah.
Ogroff's like set it up. It's like now I want her to know my backstory.
I fought for this country.
Then I went into the woods and killed people.
I'm jerked off an axe.
The next article is like, man wanks off axe.
War veteran jerks off axe.
Oh, fucking hell. So then back to the fucking forest, and some different woman, not his girlfriend, is just fucking about in the forest. What are people just walking around in this forest for? But anyway, random woman walking around. Ogroff has not been changed. She's not managed to make him right, because he just runs up, stabs the woman, and then licks the blood off the knife.
Oh, yeah. And then we get that weird, like, purple vision, right? What's that about?
I don't know.
Like, everything goes purple.
But I also love as well, like, he's, like, killed her, licks the knife, and then we've just got him, like, smashing up her body, like, in this, like, demented rage. And then he carries the sack of her fucking body parts back to the shack, puts the sack meat into the cellar, and then Ogroff's girlfriend goes over to the cellar.
Yeah,
like,
when Ogroff's not there, right?
Yeah, and she opens it up and freaks out. A hand starts to come out of it. She like tries to close it, but it's too late. All these fucking zombies start crawling out of Ogroff's fucking trapdoor.
We're in a zombie film now, folks.
It's just like, do you know what? Like, it had been a while since I'd watched this, and I forgot that it randomly turns into a zombie film. It's fucking great. Oh, so fucking stupid.
And loads of them come out.
Yeah.
There's a ton of zombies.
A lot. So she's freaking out, and one bursts through the wall.
Oh, no. I was wondering about this.
What do you think happened here?
So I think, I could be wrong, but anyway, so she's kind of backing away from these zombies, right? And she's walking backwards, and behind her, what I think it is like a taxidermied zombie.
Right.
Because it's like the head and arms like coming out the wall, but not moving, as if it's like been placed there.
Yeah.
And it looks like an ornament. and she's backing away from these zombies, and she kind of approaches close to the wall, and then this taxidermy zombie comes to life and grabs her.
Yeah, because it kind of looks like you can see the head, like it's like mounted, like a kind of statue or something like that, right? Crazy. But yeah, she turns around, stabs this taxidermy zombie, and maggots are like coming out of the face.
Oh yeah, and then this is when the non-stop zombie groaning commences. From here on for the next 30 minutes, it's just like and it's just so repetitive. It's like they had that one audio sample that they just relentlessly used.
Dude, and not only just the sound, but from this point on, it's so fucking insane and repetitive. It's like this droning nightmare for the last part of this film. So Ogroff's girlfriend runs out, hides in the car. The zombies come bursting out. And do you know what? I fucking love this shit. So the zombies coming out, one of them is just walking like a normal man. He's just like, yep, here we go. Apparently the zombie actors had a lot of debate over what kind of zombies they wanted to be. And you can really see it because they're not very consistent.
Sure. Yeah, no, they're very different, yeah.
So the zombies are attacking the car. Ogroff appears out of nowhere, starts fighting off the zombies, chopping them to pieces. Zombies start coming out of fucking random graves.
Oh, I love it.
In the forest, one's just coming out of the ground.
And this is when the music gets even better. You get this swing jazz. It's like stick. Yeah. And I was like, here we go, lads. And from here, it's just a non-stop fever dream of just zombies walking around.
Madness.
Mad swing jazz. Screaming, zombie groaning.
The girlfriend as well has a gun that seems to have the ability to blow people up. The story of Ricky gun or something. She shoots a zombie and it blows up. There's fucking blood everywhere, chaos all over the fucking place. The girlfriend drives off, running over some zombies. And Ogroff is all sad, oh, she's left me alone.
This is before that he spears one of them, doesn't he?
I forgot about that. He spears a zombie. Oh my god.
But you said, she drives off and he's like, ooh, and he kind of sadly walks back, really shoulders slunched down.
But then
He's got something hidden in his shack.
Yeah. So in his shack, he's got a little fucking motorbike that he takes out and he rides off on this bike.
Oh, I love it. I love it when he puts his helmet on. Yes! He put his helmet on top of it. So he's got his fucking gimp mask, a woolly hat, and now a motorcycle helmet.
Oh, it's so good.
I just felt it so funny. They make such a big deal about this motorbike. They film it from so many angles.
Yeah.
Look at this. Got this fucking Yamazaki out here. And they make such a big deal out of it. I feel like that's the most expensive prop they had, and they really wanted to show it off. But yeah.
That's where that 10 grand went to.
Oh, man. And yeah, he puts his helmet on, he drives off through the forest. We're in the forest, we're not even on a road. And he's got his axe in one hand, how dangerous would this have been? He's not even using both his hands. He's got an axe in one hand. He's trying to drive his motorcycle with another hand. He's wearing a mask and a motorcycle helmet, so his vision is completely obscured. And then he just starts lopping the heads off of zombies.
Which is, I don't want to be too mean to this film, but it's horribly shot and edited, where it's he's on a bike, cut to a very long still shot of a fake dummy head, and it's cut off. And we're back to the bike. It's so obviously there's no motion in these shots at all. It's not great. But yeah, Ogroff's girlfriend is driving around, fucking mowing down zombies along the way. He's chasing after her, trying to catch up to her, and he eventually catches up and smashes the axe into the car and immediately falls off the bike after doing this.
Yeah.
And she crashes into a tree.
Yeah.
This is where it gets absolutely baffling. We've essentially now just got all these shots of zombies wobbling down a road, and then more zombies coming out of the ground, zombies wandering around the forest, again shots of that car that we don't know what the fuck is this car getting worked on, and then it's nighttime again,
Yeah.
And then the car starts up that we've seen getting worked on. And then we're back to daytime again. It's like, okay, all right. So we just went through a whole night. Like, where's OGROFF? Where's the girlfriend? Yeah, she crawls out of the crashed car.
Yeah.
Randomly daytime again. She gets up all frazzled from the crash, then runs into the woods. The zombies come after her. And then she finds a payphone.
It's like a SOS box, right?
Yeah, she goes over it to make a call, but then these weird eyeball lights.
They're like cat eyes, aren't they?
Just start glowing on the box.
Wait, what's that about?
For some reason.
And that freaks her out and she runs away.
She runs away, zombies chase after her.
And then the swing jazz kicks in. And
it's nighttime again. It's nighttime. Then daytime again.
Oh, man.
And OGROFF is awake. He gets up off the fucking ground and he starts like smashing up zombies left, right, and center. He gets like one zombie. I love this. He like grabs one zombie, tears the zombie's guts out and just starts eating them. This is OGROFF doing this. And then the zombies overpower him and stab him with his own axe. Kill him with his own axe.
Yeah.
Then wander off. And I'm like, oh, surely OGROFF's not dead. But no.
That's it, he's done. We never see him again.
OGROFF's done.
We never see him again.
OGROFF's dead. He just gets killed by these zombies. Baffling. Then cut to the suburbs somewhere. Don't know where we fucking are. And some random cunt's doing some fucking gardening in his front garden.
Yeah, this scene is so funny.
And then we get this like ridiculously shameless rip-off of the burning where he's got the shears and you get that classic burning shot of the shears coming up. And he chops up some zombies, like cuts their fingers off and stuff. OGROFF's girlfriend is continuing to just wander around with zombies chasing her. Back in the woods again. It's all over the fucking place. Then we cut to a guy driving a car. And this person driving this car is the only truly famous person in this film. Did you recognize?
No.
Okay, so this is Howard Vernon.
What would I have known him from?
Are you a fan of Jess Franco?
Yeah, to an extent.
He is in fucking, I don't know, like 50 Jess Franco.
Right.
So these days he's probably best known for that. He's a Swiss actor, but he's appeared in like films by big directors.
Really?
So he's in a Jean-Pierre Melville film, he's in a Jean-Luc Godard film, he's in a Fritz Lang film. And he was around for decades and decades. The beginning of his career, he usually played Nazis. Oh. And then eventually moved into, like, cheap horror films.
Right.
And he is the awful Dr. Orloff. So he's in Jess Franco's Dr. Orloff. He is Orloff. So he is, like, the character that inspired the title of this film.
Oh, awesome.
So apparently this is a fairly big name, especially for this film, to be in this. And apparently he ended up being in the film because Moutier interviewed him for his fanzine and then was like, hey, I'm making this film. And apparently Howard Vernon was really excited about this role because he was like, I get to be a priest vampire. Sorry, spoiler warning for what's about to happen. But he was like, that's fucking awesome. I want to do that. So that's why he ended up being in this film.
No way.
So yeah, Dr. Orloff himself, Howard Vernon, in a priest outfit, driving along. He picks up OGROFF's girlfriend and she's like panicking. She's like, the dead have come back to life. This is a fucking nightmare. And he's just like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's normal. He's like, just fobs her off. And she wants him to stop in the next village. But he says that he's in a hurry. It's a matter of life and death. And then he just pulls over, drags her out of the car. And then we reveal that he's a fucking vampire.
Yeah, he gets his fangs out.
Bites her, kills her.
Yeah.
And also fucking crucifies her. He has like a crucifix and he like fucking stakes her.
Why would a vampire
crucifies her?
He
stakes her. Yeah.
Why would a vampire have a stake?
Very confusing. Then the sun comes out and he gets back into the car. And I think at this point I'm like, oh, this is the car that we've been seeing the whole way through the film.
Is that what it is? Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
but I don't know why
And
we've seen
don't
it
we
getting
get,
worked
like, on his, like, dashboard or something, the cat eyes light up again?
Yeah, we see those random eyes light up again.
What's that about?
Then we cut to Ogroff's girlfriend, for some reason, is back in Ogroff's shack. Don't know how she ended up there. She gets pulled into the cellar, and again we see like a flash of those eyes again. Then a shot going down a road at night, and then end credits. That's it. So Ogroff is like, it's just gone.
He's
for
gone.
the last like 5-10 minutes of the film. There's
Killed
no
by his
Ogroff.
own zombies.
It's baffling.
Yeah.
Before we get into our thoughts on the film, just a few things about the release of this film. So the movie had its premiere during the first edition of a Super 8 film festival.
Okay.
Organized by the fanzine Mad Movies that I mentioned before, which was created by Jean-Pierre Poutez, who owned that shop that we talked about, Movies 2000, where all these people met to make this film. Moutier himself made a bunch of VHS tapes to sell himself and try to recoup the costs of the film. And in his words, he said he distributed it like a fanzine. Like that was how he sold it, essentially, like directly to people.
Sure.
The VHS tapes of Ogroff are very rare, those original tapes. And they were made, you might know this better than me. I hadn't heard of this before. They're in a format called C-Cam. So SE Cam. Do you know that format? So apparently it's like kind of a rare format, and they're basically impossible to watch on American TVs.
Right.
So even if you could find one, it would be very hard to watch it.
This wasn't released on VHS?
It was, but it's like C-Cam VHS. It's like a different, like popular in France kind of format of VHS. And he released it under multiple titles on VHS. So there was the title in the film, Ogroff, but then the VHS tapes were known as Mad Mutilator. That's probably the most famous title. Blood Zone. And The Axe Monster.
Axe Monster. Cool.
So after this film, Moutier would go on to make 7 more feature films and 1 more short film as well. Like, so 1 short. His last 2 films are seemingly impossible to find. They're not even listed on Letterboxd.
Okay.
But in the week building up to this podcast, Guy, I watched all of his films that I could get my hands on.
Awesome.
So just a quick little summary of his film. So after Ogroff, he made a short film called Hemophilia in 1985. I couldn't find it anywhere. I think it's shot on film. It looks really cool. It won some awards, but I couldn't find it anywhere, unfortunately.
Wow.
Then in 1988, I wish I had more information about this for you, but in 1988, he shot his US debut.
Oh.
And it's a film called Operation Las Vegas. And so it was shot in 88 and then released in 1990. And it's fucking crazy.
Right.
It's this absolutely insane action film. Almost incomprehensible, like plot-wise. Like maybe worse.
It's not even horror.
No, not horror. It's an action film. And even though it's really cheap, it's on a way bigger scale to Ogroff. So there's like big fucking explosions and stunts and like a huge amount of extras and locations. So it's pretty amazing, but I have no idea how this production came about.
Right.
I don't know how he ended up making this film. I really couldn't find much about it. And then after that film, which is like quite a while after Ogroff, that's like 7 years after Ogroff, he just started to make shot on video self-distributed films. I mentioned at the start, Ogroff, not much dialogue. The sound was very difficult to do. And that was kind of a blessing in disguise because once he can shoot on video, he can more easily have dialogue.
Right.
And oh, fuck, mate. His films are just so dialogue fucking heavy.
Oh, really?
And it's exhausting.
Oh, damn.
They're exhausting.
What a drastic change to Ogroff.
It's such a big change. So honestly, like all of these ones on video, they sound great on paper, but they're just these meandering, not very fun films. They often star Jean Rollin, who he was a big fan of. And I mean, I fucking love Jean Rollin too, but he's not a great actor. And it's mostly just characters just talking and talking and talking. So in the 90s, he made Trepanator, which you mentioned
That's the
before.
one I know, but you said is that no good?
That one's okay. That one's pretty fun.
Right.
It's like a shitty rip-off of Reanimator.
Yeah.
The main character's called Herbert East.
Yeah.
Pretty stupid. Also, in 1992, he made a film called Alien Platoon.
Okay.
There's no alien in the film. I think I sent you a clip from this.
Did you?
Where it was like this like gross like zombie soldier just being like, I want to fuck a woman.
Oh,
He's like screaming. I think I sent you that clip.
Yeah, you did.
It's essentially, imagine Predator, but with a bunch of middle-aged fat Frenchmen wandering around in a forest and never actually seeing the like alien. And it's not an alien.
It's on paper, like as you said, on paper it sounds great.
Yeah,
but
it's
watching it.
Yeah, exhausting. Then 1993, he made Dinosaur from the Deep.
Not gonna watch that.
Which has a tiny puppet dinosaur chewing on people's hands.
Might watch it.
It's pretty bad. And then in 1994, he made the Edgar Allan Poe syndrome. Can't really tell you much about it, mate. It's just a guy that thinks he's Edgar Allan Poe torturing people.
We'll go through that phase.
Yeah. And then after that, he made 2 films that I said I couldn't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
Can find nothing about them. In 97, he made a film called Death Camp. And then in 1998, he made a film called Brooklyn Cop.
Okay.
I can't find anything about them. One more thing about Moutier, and this is my favorite thing about him, so I've saved it for the end. So he died in 2020, but after his death, Norbert Moutier has appeared in the news quite a bit, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And this is my favorite thing about him. And this sounds weird, but this has kind of haunted me a little bit, this story. It like made me quite emotional, this stuff. So I don't know, maybe it's just because I was like really sick when I was researching this podcast and was in a weird feverish state.
Yeah.
So in September 2020, a guy by the name of Xavier Girard came across an enormous bag of handmade comics at a flea market.
Right.
There were so many comics that 6 big tables could be like covered in these comics. There were so many. So researching these comics and their history, he found that they were made by Norbert Moutier as a young child.
Wow.
So these were all comics made by Moutier by himself in post-war France from the age of 5 up until his adolescence.
Fuck.
And they're comics that were like inspired by American culture.
Right.
So they're very like poppy kind of comics, right?
These were like what, handwritten, hand-drawn.
Yeah.
So this was not even the Xerox stuff. This was the
I think so, yeah.
drawn, handmade stuff.
Yeah, so they're all like quite amateur, obviously, because it's a child
It's
making
5,
them.
yeah.
But apparently they were like quite amazingly assembled. So he must have had help from a family member or something to assemble them, because they were like kind of professional looking, even though they were like these comics made by a kid. And I looked at some of the images from these comics, and they're just fucking awesome. They're kind of, it's a little bit like looking at Mike Deanna's work.
Sure.
But without the horrible violence and weird sexual stuff. But all of these like comics were really carefully archived by Moutier, so he'd stored them really carefully, and they were recently shown in an exhibition in 2021, and this guy that found them is working on a documentary about these like comics and about Moutier.
Oh, awesome.
Also, along with the comics were about 600 photo negatives ranging from the 40s to the 60s of Moutier's childhood, and the photos are just like incredible to look at. And one of them even shows Moutier as a little kid dressed up as a superhero in an outfit that really reminded me of Ogroff, where he's got like a mask on and everything. And I don't know, there was like something about this story that just like really struck a chord with me, and it made me feel like quite oddly like close to Moutier.
Sure.
And
makes him seem very human.
Yeah.
You know?
And it like, it made me realize as well, like this guy, you know, he's like the ultimate fan, right?
Yeah.
Genre fan, where from his childhood up until his death, he like copied the things that he loved and archived everything in this like really careful kind of way. And yeah, in interviews that I've watched with him, he talks about that, like from his childhood until making movies, he considered himself this like DIY craftsman, right? And I think there's something like really like amazing and like beautiful about that. It also made me sad as well because this guy like dedicated his life to making all of this stuff, and then he died and they just ended up in this flea market.
Yeah, how did they get there?
I don't know. I guess like he didn't have anyone that wanted to keep this stuff. Like he didn't have any family members or friends that like, you know, looked after this stuff. So it just ended up at this flea market. I think for me that just like, it really shows how important it is to like document culture and things that have been made, and also just how fragile it can be, and like who knows like what has just like ended up in the fucking bin after someone's died. So I know it really, like after I read all those stories, I was like thinking about him so much in the last week, and it was it's just a weird thing to like connect to this absolutely insane film, but then have this very like human, very relatable side to him.
Well, thank God that someone found them.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances that someone finding them, actually taking the effort to research them and connecting them back to this insane movie director and zine maker?
Oh, it's just incredible. Fucking amazing. Yeah, so that was just such a cool, like, you know, bookmark to his story.
I can't wait for that documentary.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting.
What an obscure documentary to make though. Like that's
very specific.
Very who's watching that? Apart from us, you know.
We'll be watching it.
And OGROFF fans, but still it's like, I mean, for the majority of people, no one's going to know who this fella is.
But I think it is a very endearing story because, like, the comics, like, there is something amazing about them. Like, you've got these, like, these comics from the 40s and 50s made by this child, but there's just something very heartwarming about them. So I think maybe that documentary will have more of an appeal to people than OGROFF or something, you know, because it is like quite a fascinating story.
That just hearing this story, it really reminded me of this documentary I saw when I went to Italy last year. And it was at the same film festival that Sound of Summer played. And it was called Life on the Farm. It was in this, I think it was some like real countryside town in England. And there was this old fella working on the farm who documented his entire life and like made all these like home movies on his own with his like cows and mum.
Oh, sounds great.
And his like grandson or something found this movie that he made in the attic or something. I was like, what the fuck is this? Then started like asking the people like around in the kind of the farms around where he lived, and they were like, oh yeah, he used to come by every week and show us his new movie. And this guy spent his entire life on the farm making these insane home movies.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it became like this huge documentary, and they interviewed all the people around him. He died now, but it's just knowing that he basically wanted everyone to see like these movies that he made. And I guess he wanted to be known. And it wasn't until after he died that his like grandson found this film that he made, started like looking into it. And then it became this huge thing and like toured in festivals all around the world, won loads of awards. But yeah, it sounds like it might be a similar thing with this
for
this
sure.
upcoming documentary.
Yeah, like a post-death fame of in some way.
Oh, can't wait! What a sentimental note to end on.
Yeah,
after fucking OGROFF, what is
after
that?
all the axe wanking? Yeah. So, final thoughts on OGROFF before we get to our wrongometer.
I'll tell you what. One thing I will say: once the zombie stuff kicked in, it was just like a fever dream of madness.
Yeah.
Like repetitive insanity. And the score was so good. When I say good, it was terrible. But it was so like nightmare inducing that you kind of like go into a trance. Because you're essentially just watching the same thing play out on camera relentlessly.
Yeah.
With the same sounds, the same like zombies screaming, the soundbite that they use. And the music like going back and forth from like John Carpenter-esque soundtracks, like synth, like spooky synth stuff, then back to the swing, and it just puts you into this weird trance of what the fuck am I watching? And it really had a kind of a physical effect on me. Yeah, this film is like the work of a crazy person.
Yeah.
Is the best way to put it.
That is definitely the best way to put it. It's absolutely mad. And, there are way more fucked up films in this, of course. But it really does put you into a trance.
Yeah. And when, it finally finished, I was just like, oh, fuck. And I was like, I need a break. And then, and the credits came around. I was like, I don't need to watch the credits. I was like, I'm not going to bother with the credits. But then the song kicks back in again. And I was like, oh, fucking hell, this song is so good. And after having witnessed that, 80-minute fever dream of just constant visual and audio chaos, to have that real smooth, comfy synth reggae reaper, something with an actual tone and beat and stuff, and I just kind of leant back into my chair. I was like, oh, this is it. This is the good stuff.
It's getting high at the end.
Oh, it really was. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It really is a very special film.
Yeah.
And it can't really even be compared to other, 8mm horror stuff.
It's not it exists outside good and bad as well. It's not a good film, but I wouldn't call it a bad film either. It's not a so bad it's good fucking thing like that. It's just a fucking trip of a film.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about the wrong-ometer? So how wrong the film is, how much it shouldn't exist.
I don't know.
How fucked up it is. It's a hard one.
This one is very hard. This one definitely should exist.
I think there are moments in this that push it up quite high.
Wank axe.
Yeah, wank axe. The fact that it randomly turns into a zombie film with no indication that it's going to be that outside of a few shots of a cellar. The fact that woman who we assume is the protagonist of the film fucks Ogroff. And
because
she looks like his mum. Yeah. And that sort of the domestic life that they live together, but also just the aesthetic of the film, the design of Ogroff is so fucking crazy and mad that this really rates very highly for me. So while I do think it should exist, it's fucking insane. There's no other film like this. So I think I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna go pretty high. I'm gonna say 9.
It's a good score. Yeah, and I'm pretty close to that score myself. But I think, I agree with all of the points you just made. And just one last point I want to make is for me, rather than visually, the mood it creates is what really fucked me up, and what really cranks this up on the wrong-ometer. There's a feeling to this film. There's a weird atmosphere it creates that makes you feel something there's a physical urge to vomit whilst you watch this film. So I'm thinking 8 for myself.
Nice.
It's a knockout film.
Nice. Fun times. So next time, what are we doing?
I'm very excited. So I was actually thinking of doing something completely different, but after watching Ogroff, it reminded me of 2 other films that I was also contemplating doing, and then it became a choice of which one to do. And one of them, it might actually break the rules of this podcast, so I'm gonna put that on hold for now. So I've decided to go to somewhere we've not ventured yet before. As far as I know. Have we been to Thailand yet?
I don't think so.
Good.
Yeah.
So we are going to Thailand for, depending on where you look, werewolf. It's just called werewolf.
Okay.
Or wolf.
Yeah.
From 1987. Okay?
Good year.
Yes. Now, werewolf from 1987. If people are keeping up with us, which I hope they are, just be wary, there is another film called Werewolf from 1987.
Oh, fuck.
So just make sure you are watching the Thai version. Now, disclaimer, unfortunately, this film does not have English subtitles.
Oh.
Yeah, which is not... Have we done it? Oh,
no,
yeah.
I don't think we've done that. I mean, we've done Japanese, yeah, but... Oh, okay.
So this will be an unsubtitled effort on our end.
That's exciting. That's good.
It'll be an interesting one. It'll be interesting. Also, just be aware there is a heavily cut version and then an uncut version. We'll be watching the uncut version, which is 90 minutes.
Okay.
The uncut version is 80 minutes.
Ooh, that is a lot cut out.
Yes. So if you are keeping up with us and watching in time with us, make sure you watch the 90-minute version of Werewolf from Thailand.
Nice. Sounds good. And also, next week, we will have our last Tokyo mini.
Hey!
And it's a good one, so definitely check that out before we head to Thailand for Werewolf. And we have an Instagram now. We mentioned it last time as well. So do give us a cheeky little follow. It's very easy. You just look for Show Me Something Wrong and we pop up. We're also, we're still on X, but we're trying to phase that out.
Yeah.
We've had enough of that shit. And if you want, you can send us an email at showmesomethingwrong@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. And of course, please give us a rating on Spotify. That's helpful. And a review, I guess, on fucking Apple Podcasts. Mate, do you know there were all these, not that many reviews, but there were reviews that I didn't see. Because Apple Podcasts is like broken up by country.
The fuck?
So I've only been seeing like the US reviews, but there's like UK ones.
Oh, no way.
So thanks for the people that did the UK ones.
Sorry, that was me.
He's like, Guy, from Guy. This is a very good podcast. I like the British. I like the British one. I like the British man. So please do the reviews, do the ratings. That's really helpful as well.
Can we end this one on that Rasta Reaper?
Rasta Reaper,
Yeah,
right?
because it's fucking banging.
On Rasta Reaper. So lean back, have a big old bong.
Big old bong.
And have a listen to Rasta Reaper.